Let's go. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, day we ignite and Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and dripping orange and black and white. Day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Wake up the feast, every day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle dripping heat, tigers strike the city streets. East side stand up, west side stand up. If you rapping, who that? Time to put your hands up. Bingo stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati jungle fit it. Who they in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle dripping. Nasty, natty, yeah, we lit it. Lit the crowd, get the city loud. Yeah, we feasting now. Fit the bounce, make the city howl. Now we beastin' now. Thunder through the tunnel, from the sideline to the huddle. Stripes we tatted on the jungle when we flex that who they muscle on them. Stripes, Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and dripping orange and black and white. All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Now who wanna move close and on? Now who wanna move on? If you got stripes and you let the city know you rock 'em, yeah we got 'em, yeah we fought 'em. Like that black and orange upon 'em, bingo bottle, never stop it till the beast on beast and know who they rockin' with the diamond stripes, flossing on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen, we gon' show the world who king. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, day we ignite and Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and dripping orange and black and white. All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Now who wanna move close and on? Now who wanna move on? All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I'm bringing you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of Jackpot Joey Burrow, not Joey Ice or whatever the full Send podcast called him. I don't know. I never heard of that one. Anyway, home of Jackpot Joey and the AFC North champion Cincinnati Bengals. Now do me a favor, if you found the show, hit that like and subscribe button, smash that thumbs up. You guys are awesome. I'm up to 1,685 subscribers. That is awesome. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Like I always say, if it wasn't for you guys watching and subscribing, I would have no reason to do this show. So if you're watching on Facebook or Twitter and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so. Please go to the YouTube channel Sports with Strawberry Ice. Hit the subscription button, hit the bell for the notification, and every time I go live, you'll be notified. Also, exclusively in the YouTube chat crew, we're doing super chats. So if you like to support what I'm doing or have an awesome question for my great friend, Jess Hubey, you can give me a super chat. I would greatly appreciate it. And as always, I'm coming to you live from the Ice Cave. The Ice Cave is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out their website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. All right, guys, if you are staying tuned to the channel, you saw that I was able to get out to the bridge today. I got to see my boys out there. It was like homecoming. I loved it. I got to go out there and hang out. I see T. Higgins, got to see Joe Burrow, got to see Dax Hill. Mike Hilton, Dax Hill, who signed his new contract today. We'll get into that and all that and more. But let's get to my great friend. She's from Tigress Talk, the only, as far as I know of, women's only YouTube show that talks about the Cincinnati Bengals. Here's Jess. Ube, what's up, girl?
Hi, how are you?
Good. About time Cap got off the computer. That's all I got to say. I mean, Sheesh.
I know. I'm very sorry. And then he had me come sit up here, and he was still on with everybody else, and I'm sure you guys will see that later. But
Does it doesn't he know that he's on my show like every Monday during the season? He doesn't need to be on with me now. So
he says he loves you.
I hear him. Love you too, Cap. So what's going on? How's things been?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm ready for football season. We got some news. We got Jesse Bates says he's not going to play. Then we signed a Dax Hill today. So
Yeah.
yes, technically Dax could be Jesse's replacement. I still am holding out hope that Jesse is going to play. I don't know where this is because I don't know about you, but Jesse has said multiple times he doesn't have to be the highest paid safety in the league. I believe him, but I'm a little shocked of that he said he might sit out the season. I don't know more. I'll believe it when I see it. What's your thoughts on that?
I hate this side of the business. It's ugly and I hate it. And I think that these agents are really the bad guys here. I think they get into these players' heads and they start these fights between the players and the organizations. And I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it for them. I hate it for it's bad for the sport. It's bad for the fans, I think. So I hate it. I don't
Yeah, I'm with you. And the bad thing is I kind of see it from both sides. I mean, I understand where the Penguins come from. Jesse Bates had one of his worst seasons last year, but he had one of his best, runs in the playoff, for the Bengals. If it wasn't for Jesse Bates, we wouldn't have made it to the Super Bowl. So I understand where the Bengals are coming from. I also understand where Jesse's coming from. There's part of me that I wish he'd just go, hey, let's get the agent out of the way, because I think the agent is trying, and he's doing his job, trying to get him, as much money as he can, which he's done a great job for his other players, like the quarterback up in Cleveland. I can't think of his name now, but he got everything guaranteed. He had the safety in Seattle. He's the highest paid one. Those are all clients of his. I think T. Higgins is a client of his, which kind of scares me too, because I want to make sure we keep T. So I don't know. I'm torn by it. I understand both sides. I just want him to get the deal done and get this over with.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard because you look at the production last year and you could say, oh, well, he's taken a step back. But then, like you said, he did a really great job in the playoffs. And then the question is, well, okay, where was he the rest of the season? And, I feel like he did an okay enough job, but it's tough when you're talking about money, especially this much money in these guys. And I think, I saw some comments on Twitter saying like, oh, he just wants to take care of his family. And people are saying like, that's ridiculous. You can take care of your family on, normal salary, much less a football player's salary. So I don't know. It's really tough. And I think it's very polarizing, I think too. So
yeah, it's easy for us to say this because it's not us. He has a chance to have life-changing money. Yeah, $12 million is life-changing money, but it's only for 1 year. And if he gets hurt or if he has a bad year or something, then that can affect, his career moving forward. And like I said, I've said this a million times on my show. I would never be mad at a guy for trying to get as much money as he can in the NFL because their careers are so short and they have just a short amount of time to make as much money as they possibly can. I mean, because these guys can make money that their grandkids cannot spend, So if you have a chance to get it, go get it. But that also comes back to Jesse Bates was such a big team leader last year, and he was the one that said everybody should be here for OTAs and training camp. And I still believe Jesse believes it. I don't think Jesse wants to do. I know Jesse doesn't want to do this. I know he wants to be there with his boys. I think it's killing him that he's not. So I don't know. It's tough. I'm to the point where I either want them to hurry up and get this figured out, or we need to move on because I don't want the distraction for the team. Because I want to go win a Super Bowl this year, Jess.
I'm with you. I want that too. And I agree. And I think that it really sucks because I think we've done a good job of tearing down a lot of the old narratives. And then something like this comes up and the first thing people want to say is, oh, the Bengals are just cheap. And it's like, this is extenuating circumstances. Like this is not the same old, the Bengals are cheap narrative. Like this is a little different. They've paid their guys recently. And yeah, I absolutely agree with Jeremy and Robert. It's his agent. I guarantee you, because this is not the person that Jesse Bates was last year at training camp when this started, like you said, Jeff. So
yeah,
I don't know.
he said on NFL Network in the offseason, I think it was, that he doesn't have to be the highest paid safety. So I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, we did sign Dax Hill today, so
Woo.
that's good. I mean, and that's the thing. That's one thing I do like. We don't have any holdouts on our first round picks anymore because of the way the salary cap and everything for the rookies is structured. So he was out there with all the other guys at training camp today, or I mean OTAs today, and I had a lot of fun. I got to go hang out with them and stuff, and so I got on my perch to watch the Bengals bridge crew. Everybody participated except for I think T. Higgins. He's still out with his shoulder, but he should be back for training camp. Joseph Asai, I'm pretty sure was out there. It's kind of hard to see sometimes from the bridge.
Yeah,
but
I'd heard that he was limited.
He was limited. I know the day before that, and I was looking on the rehab fit. I didn't see 58, but that doesn't mean anything. He could have been here, so I don't know. We'll see. So, what do you guys got going on with Tiger Stock? I know you guys are trying to do this at least once a week, and I got Whitney coming on my show Friday. So, where are you guys at with your podcast?
Awesome. No, we are definitely every week when the season is in full swing, but when things are just sort of ramping up, we're kind of just doing it as news comes out. So we had a show last night for the schedule release. So that is up on our YouTube page now. You can see it. And things took an interesting turn because I thought that in the movie Step Brothers, he said steak hooker and apparently said skank hooker. And Jerry was explaining to us about how in Tampa, there are fancy steak restaurants inside of the strip clubs. And so there was a very long piece on that.
It got wild on Tiger
Come
Stock.
for the Bengals content and stay for the ridiculous commentary.
Exactly. Yeah. Unfortunately, you guys are. I'll have to go back. I always have to go back and watch it because you guys are usually on late during the week, and I'm asleep by then. But sounds like the conversation we had with Clark Harris. I was on Dale and an Arrow show, Bengals and Brews Saturday night with him, and Clark talked to us for 3 hours, 3.5 hours. And he finished a whole bottle of bourbon. It was fun. That was the most fun I've ever had on podcast my entire life, and it was crazy. So I would suggest go check out Tiger Stock and go check out Bengals and Brews. Because I was texting Dale, and apparently I had Shane Graham on yesterday, and shout out to you having Shane Graham picture behind you. He was on with me for an hour yesterday. Apparently, he was on with Bengals and Brews for about 2.5 hours, at least last time I knew about the text. So that's another long show they got coming out. So lots of great Bengals content coming at you at all kinds of different channels.
Well, the reason why I have Shane Graham back here,
mm-hmm.
I can never figure these things out. It's because Cap was actually talking with them just now, and they're still going. So that's why I was a little bit late getting on here.
So Cap was on Bengals and Brews with them?
Yeah, they were still going with Shane Graham.
I gotcha.
And he told me to come sit down, and I thought it was you, and it was Shane Graham, and I was like, you're not Jeff.
Wrong person. I see. Everybody's recording a show without me now. Okay, I'm so jealous. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So, like I said, we got Dax Hill. We got the rookies coming up here. What are your thoughts going into the season here? You know, since we fixed the offensive line, we signed the free agents. Are you as confident as I am as far as the season goes? Because Jess, I think we got a shot at dropping 40 points on people a game.
Oh yeah, what's silly is I'm confident going into every season. So you better believe that coming off our first Super Bowl appearance that I've ever witnessed in person, you better believe I'm thinking that we're going right back to the Super Bowl again, because I have high expectations every year, and the fact that we've only gotten better is just, I think we win the Super Bowl this year or next year. But I think we definitely make a deep playoff run, at least. I mean, it's going to be hard. Our division's hard. Our conference is hard. I mean, it's going to be hard to get there, but I think that they can do it. And I know that they will. It's just a matter of when. So,
yeah, everybody keeps talking about how tough our schedule is. Well, last year we had the sixth toughest schedule in football. So, I mean, it's hard, but it was hard last year too. And we only had 4 wins the year before that. So, yeah, as long as we stay healthy, I think we can make a deep run. And I've looked at the schedule a couple of times, and it's tough, but nobody really scares me, really. I mean, is there a game that you're really looking forward to for us being able to watch in the jungle?
I'm really looking forward to the Bills game.
Yep, me too.
It's gonna be a lot of fun, and I think it's a really good matchup. I think that's one of our toughest matchups. I'm not
Mhm.
really worried about our division rivals. I think, flip a coin. I feel like a lot of times we end up splitting those and it ends up working out fine. But I think that the matchup that I'm most excited about is the Bills for sure.
Yeah, that one's the one that I think is going to be the most interesting because I think there's a very good chance that we could be competing between the two teams. I say we. I always say we when I talk about the Bengals because I'm a we. Okay, I'm blood,
We are
sweat.
the 12th man, so
Yes, yes, it's we. So I think we will have a chance at getting the number one seed overall, and I think it's a very good chance it could be determined in that game with Buffalo.
Yeah, I think you might be right. And honestly, I think I heard somewhere, doesn't Buffalo play the Rams week 1? I think
You
I saw
got me. I have not looked at Buffalo's schedule, so
I
you might
thought
be
I saw
right.
that somewhere. And then somebody said like, "Oh, I'm terrified that they're going to lose their first game." And I think that would just be great for Buffalo to go in there and beat the Rams on
Oh,
week
I would
1.
love it. Hell
That would
yeah.
be so awesome.
Hell, I like anybody and everybody to beat the Rams.
Right.
Now I'll get this comment here from Jeremy. He said, "Why is everyone so hyped up on the Browns? Watson probably suspended for half of the season. Plus, it'll be close to 2 years since he started." And I kind of agree with him on that. And because they're not their first primetime game, I think it is Halloween night versus the Bengals. So I'm pretty sure Watson's going to be suspended at least 5 to 6 games. And like Jeremy says there, he hadn't played in almost 2 years, and he's going to be rusty because if you remember, everybody got all up in arms about Chase last year. Oh, he's dropping all these balls. Like, well, he hadn't played it in a year, so it's a little bit of rust. And once he knocked it off, he was good to go. I think it could be the same thing with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I have nothing good to say about that man or the Browns. So I think they're going to be terrible. I think they're going to be in the bottom for the foreseeable future. I think probably Baker Mayfield was probably the best thing they had going, and they totally burned that bridge. So
Right. Exactly. That's where, I mean, I think our biggest I would say opponent in our own division is going to be Baltimore. I think
yeah,
they're not going to be
easily.
as injured as they were last year. There's
If
no.
they can find somebody to throw it to, if they ever plan on throwing the ball, that's the only thing.
Oh,
So
they're gonna throw it to all the tight ends, Jess. All
I
of them.
can't quite understand their thinking there. But yeah, I agree. I think the Steelers are going to be a joke. I think the Browns are going to be a joke. And I think the Ravens are going to be competitive this year. If they can stay healthy, I think they'll be competitive this year. So we'll see. But
Yeah,
I definitely think our biggest division rival is going to be the Ravens.
yeah, it's definitely going to be very interesting because I am curious about how they're. Like you said, they have nobody to throw it to other than tight. They have 25 tight ends, so they have no wide receivers. They traded their best one away, which he wanted to leave. And to me, that
Right.
and it's more of not a thing against Lamar Jackson. I mean, I don't think Lamar Jackson is the greatest or the most accurate quarterback, but it's more their offense where they just don't throw the ball that deep. I mean, they just don't. That's why I think wide receivers don't want to go there.
Yeah. I think I have a lot of respect for Lamar Jackson as an athlete, but he is just not a good passer. He's just not. That's just not one of his strengths. So, I don't know. I don't know what
Yeah,
they're thinking. I guess we'll all find out.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna clip this out and say, I'm not a good quarterback." I didn't say you weren't a good quarterback. You're just not an accurate passer. I mean, that's just the way it is. You're just not. I mean, those are facts.
Yeah.
So we got them, and then I keep saying this, and since it seems like all the talent has come to the AFC, I mean, we got in the NFC, you basically got I think Green Bay and Tampa Bay, and that's it. So you got the varsity, which is the AFC, and you got the JV, which is the NFC. So
Seriously.
yeah, and I think that matchup between the Bengals and Buccaneers, you never know. It could be. People say this could be the one and only Joe Burrow versus Tom Brady, but you never know. It could be a Super Bowl preview. That would be kind of
That's
interesting.
true.
Because I
That's
mean,
a good point.
yeah,
But I think this is Tom's last year regardless. But yeah, they could play again.
Oh, I think so. Well, it was supposed to have been last year. It was supposed to have been his last year, and now it's going to be his last year, I think for sure, because he's got his job set up at Fox
Yeah.
with with probably I think more money than he's made as a as a player, which is ridiculous. So it'll be interesting to see. And the cool thing is that I'm going to be at that game. I think Cap said you guys might be going
Oh,
to.
we're totally going. We're having well, so Jerry lives in Tampa and Whitney
Mhm.
lives close by as well.
Mhm.
And
Right.
so Kayla and I are going to go down. Well, we're all going down. All of our families are going down, but we're going to have a Tigers Talk slumber party one night. So
Awesome. That'd be fun.
at Jerry's house.
That'll be all. We'll definitely have to figure out where we all are tailgating at so we can hang out
Yeah.
because who day baby is down there too as well. Sean's down there.
Yes.
So we gotta make sure we hang out with him, and I'll hook up and hang out, and I'll drag my sister-in-law with her Buccaneer stuff with me. She can hang out and party with some real tailgaters.
Yeah. That sounds great. I'm really looking forward to that game. I'm looking forward to that one. I'm looking forward to New Orleans. I'm excited to go to
Are you,
those two
are
away
you guys
games.
gonna go to New Orleans as well?
Yeah, I think so. Those are
Cool.
the two that we for sure really want to go to. And then if possible, we also want to go to Dallas just because I've always wanted to say that I've always wanted to see that stadium ever since they built it. And so I think this is probably going to be my only chance for a while. So we'll see. But it'll just depend on my schedule. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I've seen the outside of the stadium in Dallas. It is the biggest damn thing I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen the inside of it. I wanted to go last year for the Cotton Bowl when the Bearcats were in there, but I didn't. That is a horrible time of year for me. I mean, I love football, but as far as my work schedule goes, it's awful. I'm extremely busy, so it's really hard for me to go anywhere. I have a hard enough time just trying to make it to the Bengals games, but that is I like that stadium there has one of the biggest jumbotrons I think I've ever seen. Because the punters they had to raise it because the punter would kick it. They would hit it with the football.
Which is hilarious. Like, how did you not plan for this? Okay.
Right, exactly. It's like they should like measure that. Like, oh, they can't kick that. Like, oh, yeah, they can. We might want to move that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would love to go there too if possible. But it gets hard going to every home game plus traveling to the away games. It gets to be a lot. I have a lot of respect for everybody that does that.
Oh yeah. I don't know how they do it. I wish I could. That would be like maybe when I'm retired I can actually do that.
Yeah. I always say when I'm retired, I'm going to get an RV and I'm just going to drive around in my RV all over the country and go to all the games and just bring all my dogs with me.
Hell yeah.
That's the hardest part is boarding my dogs. But
that's where we're having a problem right now. We're going to go to North Carolina for my nephew's graduation. We're trying to find somebody to watch the dog. I'm like, holy smokes. It's not that easy.
Yeah. We have to board ours at the vet. So
what? See, I did that. Okay. We did that my first dog. We did that a long time ago. And her name was Bubbles. She's about this big. She's a Pomeranian Fox Terrier is what she was. And that dog was so mad at us when we got back. I mean, literally, she was like nipping at people. They put like a little choker on her. I'm not kidding. She's like this big. I'm like, seriously? I'll never forget that. We got home. We got her in the car. I'm like, her name was Bubbles. I'm petting her. I'm a little like 7 years old. I'm like, it's okay, Bubbles. She's like, arr, 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 arr. Like the whole time, like she's mad at us. So we never put her in that again. We always try to find somebody's house or somebody like that to watch it. But that's not always the easiest thing to do.
Yeah. It's hard. We boarded our dogs at a young age and, they've always known that, it's okay. We come back. So I think they get used to it, but I think certain dogs just, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Buddy, he has a blast. He'll go and like, we used to have a guy in Kentucky, a buddy I used to work with, and go over there and he called it dog heaven. And he had acres of land for the dogs to run. He had a whole bunch of dogs. Buddy would freaking love it. He like forget about us and we'd show up like, hey, you ready to go home again? Nope, I'm gonna stay here.
He just runs away.
Right, exactly. Like, no, come this way. Whatever. So I'll get this question here by Tim. He says, got a question. Do you think the Cincinnati Bengals are the new America's team? I say yes. What do you think? I don't know. What do you think there, Jess?
I don't know. I think I would say yes, it's definitely a possibility. It's amazing. I was talking to Bridget Jankars, who got to go to the draft, who got to announce one of the picks. And she was telling me that everybody that she ran into there, opposing fans, they were like, we were rooting for you in the Super Bowl. We were rooting for you guys in the Super Bowl. And I think that the Bengals are a very likable team. And I think, what makes America's team, I feel like the Cowboys have always been America's team. And I don't really know how they got there or what the criteria is. But I do think that a lot of people are starting to notice the Bengals. They're starting to root for the Bengals. They're starting to like the Bengals. They're seeing these young guys. They're seeing Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and all these guys that are young and fun to watch and have big personalities. Joe Mixon, all these guys, they're really latching on to them. And so I think absolutely it could be America's team. I think we have a lot of support from a lot of different places outside of Cincinnati. So
Yeah, exactly. I had that same thing happening when we went down to Florida because, as you know, my wife, Mrs. Ice, she's from Florida, so we get out in Florida a lot, and we're hanging out at a bar down there, watching a guy that we know in this band. And anyway, I'm wearing my Bengal stuff. I wore all Bengal stuff. I'm Bengaled out. I'm proud. I'm wearing it. And I got this lady came up to me. I don't even know who she was. I'm sitting there drinking the beer. She came up. She's, oh, we almost won. And she's like, give me a hug. I'm like, I know. Like my wife's like my wife was like following her behind me. I'm like, I know, it's so close. I'm like, oh, I was like, hey, I'm Jeff. How you doing? She told me her name. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, so then she walks away. I looked at my wife. Go, did you know her? She goes, no. She goes, I was just walking up to say hi to you. She just happened to walk up to you. I'm like, oh, okay. So, which was completely different from the year before that. When me and Jen went to the Super Bowl down there. I was wearing my Joe Burrow jersey, and I'm walking around, and people are like, Bengals. Why are you wearing the Bengals? I said, because we're freaking good. Oh, okay. We were good. I'm like, watch. A year later, I'm like, see? But there's a lot. I got a lot of Who Days. We love Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase is awesome. It's completely different because the Bengals are cool now. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins have made the Bengals cool.
I 100% agree. It's funny that you say that because I forget what year it was. It had to have been 18 or 19, or maybe it was even before that. I don't even remember. But one year we were going down for a Super Bowl party. The Bengals obviously weren't playing, but we were just going down with a bunch of Bengals fans to go watch the game at a Roosters. And we stopped by Costco on our way there. And the man at Costco that was like ringing us out, he was like, he saw my Bengals gear and he was like, the Bengals aren't playing today, right? And I was like, no, I had no idea. Thank you so much for telling me that.
Like, you like pull your hair, like, oh, really? Oh, thanks.
Oh, really? I had no idea.
Yeah, right.
I didn't sit through every game this year and cry my eyes out, but that's fine.
Right, exactly.
Like, I don't know what's wrong with people sometimes, but yeah, I agree. It used to be that people they got a lot of disrespect, and I think people are starting to come around, especially young people, which I think is great. You talk to people overseas and you ask them, how did you become a Bengals fan? You've never even been to the United States, much less Cincinnati, Ohio. Right. And they a lot of them say the same thing. Oh, it was the Super Bowls in the 80s, seeing them on TV and their cool helmets. And that's when I really became a Bengals fan. I just stuck with them all these years. And that's what's really cool to me about the Bengals making it back to the Super Bowl is that all these new fans, all these international fans, all these fans from all over the country are going to see them and think that they're cool and they're going to want to become fans. And I say more the merrier.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, because some people are like, oh, well, you weren't with us before. We don't need you now. I'm like, no, jump on. Let's go. This is a fun ride. I'll take as many Bengals fans as I can get. I'm good with it.
My favorite thing is when they say those things to like really young people and they were like, I was literally not alive.
Right, exactly. Like, I was born in like I was born in the 21st century. I'm like, oh yeah, this stuff happened a while ago. Now, speaking of them being cool, apparently Jackpot Joey Burrow is what I call him, was on the Full Send podcast. I don't even know what this, I've never heard of it. They got like way more followers than I do. So, and they called him Joey Ice. I'm like, so I had to answer back. I'm like, who calls him Joey Ice? I'm like, we got Jackpot Joey. We got Joe how do you say it? Joey Franchise. Yeah, there you go. And then Jackpot. I'm like, I never heard of Joey Ice, but apparently he was on this podcast. So he talked to him for a while. So I'm going to have to check it out. But I'm hoping they'll answer me and find out why they called him Joey Ice. Or maybe it was something on the podcast. I have no idea.
Maybe he just showed up and they just called him that and he just was like, okay.
I don't think Joe cares what you call him, honestly.
I don't think so either. I think he's pretty easygoing when it comes to that kind of stuff. I think he knows what's important.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and one thing was kind of cool if you watched his press conference yesterday.
Yeah.
And I relate this back to you just said the Bengals went to the Super Bowls in the 80s. And a lot of those former Bengals from the 80s have not watched the Super Bowl that they lost all the way through. Joe Burrow watched it the next day. just like it was a regular game. And I'm like, dude, I haven't. It took me like a week to watch it. I'm like, I was on NFL Network. I'm like, oh my
I
god.
still haven't watched it, and I have no plans to watch it. I don't want to. In my mind, we won that Super Bowl. Like, I'm just gonna pretend like we won and move along in my La La Land because
Right.
it was so close. And then that interview was. I love that interview. I thought it was great. There were a lot of really good things that he said, and I couldn't be prouder of how mature and how he takes things in such stride. And it's really important to me that he knows how to win, but he knows how to lose as well. And so
Right.
that is something that I thought was really, really cool to hear him talk about. That he's lost big games before. This is just another loss to him. Whereas the rest of it, like for everyone else, was completely soul crushing.
Right.
And then they kept asking him about it, and I was like, "Stop asking him about it. I don't want to hear about it anymore. Like, can we just move on, please? We all saw the last play. We all knew it was there. Please just move on. Like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Like, I'm so upset about it. Like, I'm tired of being upset about it. I want to move on from it."
Right, exactly. And Joe's like, "Oh yeah, I was gonna throw it to Jamar, but
I saw that.
I'm like, son of a
I didn't have enough time.
God."
And then I saw somebody said, "So the meme was true," and I was like, "No."
I was like, "No." But what I liked about it is he's like, "Yeah, but we're gonna move on. We're gonna move past it. That's in the past. We're gonna move forward." And that's, to me, is a different mindset than the Bengals teams of the past of the '80s. And when they lost, it's kind of like they didn't get over it. And Joe isn't like that. He just like, all right, yep, all right, that's done. Let's move forward and get on to the next season.
He's like on another planet maturity wise. And
He's a psychopath.
I am so impressed by him. And I realize that he's older than a lot of these young players. I think he's like in his mid-20s, I think, at least. So, he's not 21, 22, these really young guys. But even still, I'm incredibly impressed by his poise and his confidence and the way that he just sort of carries himself and the way that he can just sort of internalize that, but then not let it get to him. Just sort of be like, this is what I need to do better. And this is how we're going to go forward. He's not pointing fingers at people. He's not standing up there saying, "I don't get paid to train you," and blah. You know what I mean? Like some of these things that people are saying, I feel like that never would even cross his mind. And so it's really impressive to me how well he talks about these things. And, it's just very, very impressive to me.
Well, it's a lot like what Shane Graham said on my show yesterday about talking about Evan McPherson, shooter. You got to do the full gun thing when you say shooter. There you go. So, like Evan is the same mindset. They're him and Joe, and they're both very even keeled. They don't get too high. They don't get too low.
Yep.
There's no ups and downs. It's just this. And somebody, I can't remember who said this, but somebody said this on my show that the Marvin Lewis years, you could always tell throughout the building when it was a primetime game. Everybody was a little more tighter. Everybody's a little more intense or whatever. And Zach Taylor isn't like that. Zach Taylor is another one that's even keeled, where he's like, we've done our due diligence. We got a good game plan. We believe in it. We're going to execute it fine, and we're going to win. And that's where I think from Zach Taylor to Joe Burrow, all the way, I won't say down to Evan McPherson, but I mean, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, all these guys, they had that same mindset. And that goes to the thing of the way Zach Taylor has built this team and Duke Tobin, as far as captains and guys who've come from, winning organizations.
Smart guys.
Like right. Smart guys. And not, I hate bringing up the past. We did a lot of dumb crap sometimes in our old playoff runs where we couldn't win.
Who hasn't? Yeah.
Right. Exactly. But these guys, if they mess up, it doesn't ruin the next play. And that's what's great about this.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, that's interesting that you bring that up about the whole Marvin Lewis era. I never really knew that. I mean, I knew primetime games were sort of a skeleton in our closet, something that we kind of had to exercise. But I think that's completely accurate. It's that, Zach is this cool, calm, collected guy. And that is contagious. Your energy and your attitude, I think, is contagious, and people will feed off of it. And if you are up here all the time, wound really tight, then everyone around you is going to be nervous as well. So I think the fact that Zach is calm under pressure, he knows exactly who it is. It's funny. I was working out earlier, and this instructor on this class I was taking, she said, if you know who you are then you're not affected by criticism or praise because you know exactly who you are. And people can praise you and you can say thank you, but you don't really, you're not working for that.
Right.
You know who you are. And then when people criticize you, you're like, well, that's just not true. And
Right.
so it's like, I think these guys just really have a good sense of self and they know exactly who they are.
Yeah, I mean that goes a lot for people on Twitter, like you like I'll just say you. I'm not going to put myself out there, but for different opinions that people have about you and
Yeah.
or whatever, and they say you like whatever, like you have to be able to do stuff like this and to be able to go. This is nothing compared to playing football or
Right.
anything, but you have to be able to let the stuff roll off your back when people say stuff they don't like you or whatever, or
Yeah.
or you mess up or whatever. Things happen, and that to me, that's a good thing just to have in life, in
Yeah.
general. You know, things are going to get screwed up. Sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. You just got to roll with
Yeah.
the punches.
Well, I think when you put yourself out there, whether it be on social media or a football field or whatever your arena is, when you put
Mhm.
yourself out there, you open yourself up to criticism. And yes, people are mean and they should not be. But the fact is that it's going to happen. And I
Right.
think that that's why it's so important. And I honestly, I'm so glad social media was not around when I was younger because I
Right.
don't know how I would have reacted to it. My
Right.
heart breaks for these young kids who live and die from social media. And, it's funny. I will tell a quick story. I was at an event, a or not a Tiger Stock event. We do not have events. Let me just make that
Working,
clear.
but they're coming soon. I think it's coming soon. First one's
I
gonna be
was
in
at a
Tampa.
Who Dey ladies event where they actually had Dan Horde and Dave Lapham come in and talk about the draft picks, which was really awesome. But before that, they let us into the little practice field and they let us throw footballs around and stuff. And if you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, you might have seen I posted some videos
Yes,
about that.
I
But
was jealous of you could be able to do that.
there was a lady who came up to me because I had tweeted something out earlier. I don't know if it was earlier that day or if it was the day before, but it was like it really, really irritates me when the Bengals will say, "Oh, let's welcome at so and so player to the new player or whatever," and then people are like, "Who?" And then they're just talking crap about this guy on this post where he's tagged,
Oh,
and I
jeez.
just said please don't
Don't tag them.
say who you wish we got instead of these guys. I forget how I worded it, but I was basically
Right.
like, please stop talking crap to our players on social
Right.
media. Like they're our players now. Like
Mhm.
have a little respect. And this lady came up to me and she was like, did you tweet something out about this? And I said, yeah. And she goes, I'm so glad you tweeted that out because, I have kids that are in their 20s and it breaks my heart the way that some of these athletes are treated on social media because I think of my
Mhm.
own kids and I think about they would how they live and die by social media. They just that is everything to them. And you say what you want about that, but I feel like that's the reality of the world that we live in right now. And so it really breaks my heart when people are rude to these players on social media. But
Yeah, I had that when the CJ Uzama had his comments from the Jets come out. I didn't at him. I just kind of talked about it or whatever on Twitter because the Jets put the clip out or whatever, and people were commenting and adding at CJ. I'm like, don't do that. I mean, and from what I've said, I kind of feel bad about. Maybe I got people to tweet adding, which that's not what I was intending to do. What CJ said was the same thing he said here, but the way it came, and all I've said about it is the way it came across is it was it could have came across as shade toward his old teammates, which I don't think CJ meant that at all, to be honest. I don't think he meant it at all. But
yeah.
to your point, for people who were, tagging him and everything, I'm like, don't do that. I mean, one, he's not going to look anyway, but two, it's like, that's just silly.
Yeah, I just feel like there are just better ways to spend your time, you know?
Exactly, exactly. I mean, trust me, I've got called everything under the sun on my
Me
channel,
too.
and on, oh well, I remember talking to you last year about comments on TikTok of all things. Like this Browns dude, I was laughing so hard at him. He's in his 50s. I mean, he's in shape, he's jacked up and everything. He's talking all kinds of smack to me about the Bengals and all this stuff, and I didn't respond to any of it. I'm just cracking up laughing at him.
Yeah.
I think all I said was, I did say something. I said, okay, well, we'll see what happens this season. And then we went to the Super Bowl. Have not heard a word from him since then, but he was,
Funny how that works.
I'm like, TikTok, Jess, of all things, TikTok. And the funny thing is, the more you comment on my TikTok videos, the more it plays. So the more views I
I
get. So I'm
know.
like, all right, keep
That's why
commenting.
on TikTok, I would always say, thank you for your views and comment. To every person that was mean to me on TikTok, I would reply to every single one of them. I would say, thank you for your views and comment. Because if I'm lucky, then they're going to come back at me with something else. Boom, that's another view. That's another view. That's another view. You're putting money in my pocket. You're an idiot.
This played perfectly into my hands.
Yeah. So I think it's so funny. Like, yeah, I've been called everything in the book. For some reason, insinuating that I was born male is a popular insult to me. And I don't quite understand that at all. But it's like, why would I be offended by that? I know that that's not true. Like,
Yeah,
I don't understand.
exactly.
But
I don't get people sometimes. I've never understood people who want to put you down to make them feel better. Then that person must feel like crap about themselves already if they gotta put you down. I mean, now with me and my friends, like I'll make fun of people of my friends. Like that's us. We pick on each other. We don't mean anything by it.
right.
And some of my friends, we gotta have some pretty thick skin because we say some mean stuff, but we don't actually, we know we love each other. We know we don't mean it. It's different than some random person commenting on your
no,
Twitter
it's
or
completely
TikTok.
different. This is not like ribbing with your buddies. Like this is
Exactly.
like hate, like actual hate. But
Right, exactly. Dean's like, wow, Ice, I gotta follow you on TikTok now. I'm not on there that much. It just depends on what I'm doing, but yeah. I'm on there. It's at Iceman90. Have you still got your TikTok out there, Jess?
I do. I need to look and see what it is. Oh, Obvious Hube. At Obvious Hube is my
There you go.
TikTok. But I'm gonna be real honest with you. It's been a very long time since I made any TikToks. I was really heavy into TikTok during the lockdown, like during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I got really into making TikToks, and I was making TikToks like every single day almost. And then I dropped it like cold turkey. So I haven't made any TikToks in like 2 years.
Yeah, I'll sit there if I'm at home down here watching something, I'll be bored and start making a TikTok, and then before I know it, I made like 20 of them, and then I won't make another one for a month. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I really like the whole like dubbing thing. Like I did a lot of those and I thought it was really fun. So you can go back and watch all my old ones. There's some pretty funny well, I think they're funny because I'm hilarious, obviously. But there are some funny like Bengals ones I thought were cute, but sometimes I'll post them on Twitter.
Cat's on TikTok too, isn't he?
He is. I don't think he's posted any videos other than the No Rush video that we all did in 2020. But I don't know that he's.
I thought I saw him on it, but I didn't see.
Yeah, he's on there. I mean, he's definitely on there. He just doesn't post a lot of videos.
Yeah.
But we got lots of ideas for videos. So.
I got all kinds of ideas. Well, see, the thing is, I got lots of ideas, but I just don't know how to do them. That's when I usually start calling Cap up, like, "Hey, how do I'm locked out of my computer, Cap. Can you help me? Twitter's screwing around again with me." And Cap's using my go-to computer guy, which I'm sure lots of people that know Cap, he's their go-to computer guy. So anyway,
yeah.
So what do you got? What do you got going on this summer? You got anything cool, guys? Got any cool plans? Like cool trips or anything? I know you got to go to the Super Bowl. I bet that was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
We pretty much did all our cool trips. It's funny because I make our schedule at work because there's 6 of us on our service, and all the girls are taking vacations over the summer, and they're like, Jess, you're not going to take a vacation this summer? Like, and I'm like, don't you worry. They're coming.
It's coming. Exactly. So how was your trip to the Super Bowl? Cause I never really got to, I saw you guys at the draft party and I never really got to ask you I've got to talk to Cap a whole lot. How was the Super Bowl trip? It looked like a blast. I mean,
it was incredible. I can't even believe it. Like it felt like a dream. I felt like I was having an out of body experience. It was absolutely incredible. There was like, the celebrities you see, it's just insane. We went to the one night, I can't remember what night it was, but we went to Shaq's Fun House. Shaq as in Shaquille O'Neal.
Really?
And he has this weird carnival/rave thing. And we went to that the one night, and it was all these DJs, and it was like really famous DJs like Zed, and I think Lil Wayne was there. We didn't stay that late because we were old, and that was like 2
You're old.
Like 2 a.m.
I'm older than both of you.
We left at 2 a.m. Okay. We were like, we are maxed out at this point.
I would have been done by then.
Shaq was there DJing. Like it was insane. Oh, that must have been Friday night. That had to have been Friday night because then Saturday night we went to the tailgate party and that was so much fun. And Coolio was there rapping on stage.
Oh, nice.
Like I hear the intro to Gangster's Paradise.
Yeah,
like,
I love that song. Yes.
No, me too, right? And I know every word. And I like look over and there's a man with pigtails sticking out of his hat. And I was like, that's Coolio. That's
I know
Coolio
him.
on stage over there.
I
So
know.
it's like
That's
I was
that's
like
awesome.
totally fangirling all weekend. And then we get to the actual Super Bowl. And I will say I have nothing good to say about SoFi Stadium. I think their stadium is ridiculous. It's so huge. It's like obnoxiously huge, but nobody that works there, I think, ever knows what's going on. We walked around trying to figure out where we were supposed to be for hours. Like
Yeah.
it was ridiculous. It was so much walking around because nobody could tell us where we were supposed to go for we had like VIP tailgate passes and
Yeah.
like every party that we went to, they're like, this isn't the right party. You got to go all the way over here. And then we go all the way over here and they'd be like, this isn't the right party. You got to go all the way over there. It was absolutely insane. But it was a little bit serendipitous because on our adventures, we
Mhm.
found the Good Morning Football crew.
Oh,
And
cool.
so like the
Oh
Good
yeah,
Morning
that's
Football
right.
crew.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
So no, you know exactly what I'm gonna
Yeah.
say. But so they're all doing their little segment and they're kind of like there's kind of like this little gated off area, like there's this little path that people walk on, and then you see them, they're like kind of over there and they're like wrapping up their segment, and then they all start to like get up and get water and they're all walking around, and then a crowd kind of starts gathering. And so I'm standing there and everybody's like trying to get selfies with them and all this stuff. And I was just like, when I saw God, his name just flew right out of my head. What's his
I know
name?
it. I can't think of his name either. Oh crud. And I
My
know it.
gosh.
I know the story. Ah.
I'm such an idiot. Peter. Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
Peter.
I
Yes,
was
there
like,
you go.
his name literally just flew right out of my
Oh
brain.
my
Peter was there and everybody's like, selfie, selfie, selfie. And I was just like recording video for like 5 solid minutes, just waiting for him to come by. And I was like,
Yeah.
can you say like Hooday to Whitney or something like that? And he went into this like monologue to Whitney.
Yes.
And I was just like, I was crying. I was sobbing. I'm like, my hand is like shaking. I'm like trying to hold the phone and my hand is shaking because he's just like going on and on. And honestly, I did not expect him to recognize me, know who
Mhm.
Whitney was. No, I didn't. I was just blown away by that. And
Right.
so the fact that because when you look at the whole video before I cut it, he was like, "Hey," and he's like, "Oh," like he recognized me, and then he's like, "Oh, okay, are you doing a video?" And I said, "Yeah." And so then he goes into that. That's the part that I cut before the video, and I
Right.
was just stunned. And that was probably the best thing that happened that whole weekend.
Oh, dude, that was so cool. When you tweeted that out, I'm freaking out going, holy crap, that is awesome. Like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness. He actually like, and that's even cooler that he actually like knew who you were. I mean,
Somehow,
that's
well, I think because Whitney had tweeted at him recently, and
mhm.
he had gone back and forth with her. And honestly, I like Good Morning Football. I think
I
they're
love
all
him.
great.
Oh yeah.
You know, I really am sad that Kay Adams is gone now, but you know, nobody loves Good Morning Football like Whitney loves Good Morning Football.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
that lady watches that show every single morning. She is the most faithful Good Morning Football fan I know, and so I just had to do that for her because that just was so special to me that he did that and that he went out of his way to give her a special message. I just figured he'd be like, Hooday Whitney, like, you know, say
Right.
Hooday Whitney, Hooday
Yeah.
Whitney. Like, I honestly thought that's how it was gonna go.
Right. That's what most people do. But
So,
he gave you a whole monologue, which was awesome. And he
I was
recognized you. That's what's cool about it.
sobbing.
Now, Jeremy here wants to know I know you already met her because you met her at when she was here, but he
Yeah,
said
she
that
wasn't there. She wasn't there with the crew on during that time. It was just Kyle and Peter, and I forget who else was there. There was a woman there, but I don't remember who she was. She was wearing a
Yeah.
really awesome suit. She was wearing like a pink suit. She looked phenomenal. I forget who she is though. But I did meet Kay Adams at when she came to be ruler of the jungle. That was
Yeah,
awesome.
I know.
Yeah.
It's the thing is when all the really cool people came to at Jim's tailgate, I was never there. Jonathan India, I was already in the stadium.
Oh
Kay
no, I
Adams,
wasn't there for any of that either. Yeah.
I even missed Kay. I'm like, damn. I'm like, because you know my trip. I start at Longworth
Yeah.
Hall, then I walk down to the bomb
Which
squad
is
with
a
you
good way
guys.
to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, then I walk over to Jim's, and then I go into the game, and I'm like, because I'm trying to get in there early, like you guys do, to go
Oh yeah.
hang out with them, and I never can beat you guys, but I have the Bengals credit card thing now, so I can go in when
Good.
you guys do. So it took me long
Seriously,
enough.
I
Yeah.
tell everybody about that. It is
Mhm.
so I mean, you get to skip the line basically. Even if you
Right,
get there 5 minutes before the gate opens, you skip the line. Like
right.
everyone should have anybody who goes to games regularly should have that Bengals checking account. And they
Yes.
don't pay me to say this. I'm just
No.
telling everybody
Yeah.
because seriously, like I don't even think they have any fees. Like you could put $500 in there and never touch it and just get your Bengals. Like if you like your bank and you want to continue banking with them, just
Yeah.
Get your Bengals card so you can get in the stadium early.
Right, exactly. Because Cap told me about it, over and over again last year, and I kept forgetting her, to go to do it, and I
Yeah.
finally did it, and the season was over, and I'm like, ugh. So
Next year though.
oh yeah, I'm walking in with you. I'm walking
Yeah.
in with you guys because I said every time I'm like, because we'll walk over together sometimes. Then also I'll start talking to somebody else, and I'm like, where'd they go? I'm like, oh crap, they're already in there. Hurry up, go catch up with you guys because I'm trying to
We're
get
already
the front
power
row.
walking.
I know. And like, you guys are nice and skinny and young, and my fat ass is like, hold on, I'm coming, wait. Anyway, Jess, you give me almost 49 minutes. I appreciate it. Tell everybody about Tigers Talk, your podcast, your Twitter, whatever you want to plug, whatever you got coming up.
Yeah. So podcast is Tigers Talk. We are at Tigers Talk Pod on Twitter, and follow us on YouTube. There is a link on Twitter, or you can just search Tigers Talk on YouTube and you'll find it. But we are almost at 700 subscribers.
Right.
And when we reach 1,000, we are doing a giveaway, and it is a game used Von Bell jersey. A very generous donation from our buddy Matt, friend of the show. And so we're really excited about that. So we encourage everybody to check us out, subscribe. We have a good time. This is our second year doing it. So we're all very new at it. We all have day jobs that we do not plan on quitting. So we're not like the most polished thing going, but we have a good time. We laugh a lot. So you like
That's
us,
awesome. Yeah.
check
Nobody's polished. I'm not even polished at this. I've been doing it 3 years, so it takes a while. But yeah, tell everybody to make sure. What point in time is it when the epic Step Brothers part comes out? So you got to at least watch it to that part. Well, I think you
Okay.
should watch the whole thing. But what was that, beginning
It's at
or
the very
middle?
end. It's
There you go.
at the Catalina wine mixer.
There you go.
And I cut the video together today. I posted it on our Twitter with the clip snippeted in there, so everyone could have a reference, and you can decide for yourself if you think you hear steak hooker or skank hooker. And I totally see now that it is skank hooker, but I thought this entire time until last night, my whole life since I've seen that movie, I thought they said steak hooker, so which is hilarious, but. It's not the first time that I've heard something wrong. It's not going to be the last time that I've heard something wrong. I hear song lyrics wrong all the time,
Oh, that's a whole other show we could go through. The song lyrics you hear wrong, like it's ridiculous. People start singing stuff and going, "That's not the way you sing it."
Is that the word?
Then I'm thinking I'm telling them it's wrong. Like, no, I'm the one that's wrong. I'm like, oh, okay. Anyway, Jess, I am excited for this season. I can't wait for it to get
Me
here.
too.
I want to get down there and tailgate with you guys and have fun again and go to the Super Bowl and win this daggone thing this time.
All right.
Sounds
Thanks
good.
for having me, Jeff.
No problem. Hooday.
Hooday.
All right, guys. I hope you guys had a great time watching that with Jess Hube, the better half of Bengals captain and one of the co-hosts of Tigers Talk. So make sure you guys go check it out. What'd you ask me, Dean? Say, who is she on YouTube? Well, their show on YouTube was called Tigers Talk. That's what you have to. I got it at the. Let's see. Well, if you go to the Hube, she'll have it on there too. That's where you can find it on. You find it on Twitter at the Hube, and it's at Tigers Talk, and they'll have all the links there. But the YouTube channel is Tigers Talk, so go check them out. Like I said, they go. It's not nightly, but at least once a week at least. They don't have a specific day; just depends on when they all have time to do it. Anyway, Augie, yeah, we're not talking about Cap. This is about Jess. And if you guys don't know what that is, well, then you haven't been watching my show that much. He's talking about how to pee on Cap's truck. Anyway, let me get to the Facebook groups that let me live stream. And as always, I appreciate every single one of them. They are Houday Nation, Houday Legion, Cincinnati Reds riding third, heading for home, Bearcat Ruckus, Bearcat Country, the Ohio State Buttnuts, the Ice Bar. I think you can follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Twitter handle is at Jeff A. Trenopole. TikTok, like I said earlier in the show, is at Iceman90. I think I'll be pulling the sound off, put it on the podcast. But if I do, you can check it out on BeatPod, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher Play, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure you rate, like, and review. Give me a 5-star review. Leave a comment so more Cincinnati fans can find my podcast. YouTubers, I love you guys. Yeah, 1,000. I'm at 1,685 subscribers. I'm trying to get to 2,000. Hopefully by the time the new football season rolls around. So please tell your friends, tell your neighbors about sports with Strawberry Ice. Make sure you guys hit the subscription button, hit the bell for the notification. So every time I go live or every time I upload a video like I did earlier today with my Bengals Bridge Crew video. If you have not seen that, go check it out. It's on the channel. Or if you want to go check out my interview with Shane Graham, or if you want to go check out my interview with Dave Lapham, or my interview with Deontay Smith a couple weeks ago, go check them all out. Make sure you guys pay attention to Bengals and Brews, though. I cannot wait for this to come out. They're talking to Shane Graham. Last time I knew, they're at 2.5 hours. We talked, I say we, because they were on for 3 hours with Clark Harris. I was on for 2.5 hours of it. That was an awesome show. I'm sure this one's going to be an awesome show. So make sure you check out my boys, my seat neighbors, Dale and the Orange Arrow, otherwise known as Derek. Their podcast is Bengals and Brews. Go check them out. Apparently Cap was on too, so go check them out. They're great. Great bunch of dudes. Great podcast. Go check them out. All right, guys. Well, I will be back live tomorrow at 5:30. And hopefully I'll be doing a video during the day. But like I said, make sure you are subscribed right here so I can get you as much up-to-the-date news for the Bengals, Reds, Bearcats. It's mostly Bengals, but I do Reds and Bearcats as well. So make sure you're subscribed right here. And as always, other than that, that's just sports, baby. See ya!
Let's go. In the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, day we ignite and Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and dripping orange and black and white. Day when we fight, live and die in Detroit. Wake up the beast, every day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle dripping heat. Tigers strike the city streets. East side stand up, west side stand up. If you reppin' who they, time to put your hands up. Bingo stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati jungle fitted. Who they in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle dripping. Nasty, natty, yeah, we lit it. Lit the